unfamiliar with Zandra, though I presume none of you are unfamiliar with her work. She is an icon of the British fashion industry, and her work includes not just fashion and accessories, but also opera set designs and costume designs, and now a new jewellery collaboration with Adele Marie, who is
here.
So, Zandra, for this collection, you went back into your archives. How did you decide what prints to use for the jewellery?
It wasn't a case of using just the prints, it was a case of thinking what were iconic symbols that I'd come up with over the years that we could then adapt that would really look right for the jewellery. And I mean, Adele was amazing. She hunted out all these things. We went through boxes and boxes, and for example, if you come to the stand afterwards, but there's this one which is one of my iconic heads, and it's got the gold on it, and then it's sort of more gold underneath that's been worked into it, and this has been made into brooches and into the pendants. And there, I mean, years ago when I'd made them and I'd found a student that would make one or two, I was never able to get them into production. So it was just fantastic to have it possible to do something like that and bring it out again. And then, I mean, this is again the wiggle that you'll see all over my prints, interpreted into these lovely great big beads, and then one of them's actually got a signature on it as well.
It's fantastic, absolutely beautiful.
And they've got that in a delicious, this pink, isn't it lovely, this pink? And
obviously.
And then at the back, instead of your usual clasp, it's got a symbolised ZR that then hooks to make the whole thing. So it's really clever idea, that, my dear.
We had to put your name all over.
You've obviously mentioned that you are collaborating with Adele. How did this collaboration come about, and who approached whom, and how did you move forward with that?
Well, I'd been here doing different appearances, and we got to know each other, and it just seemed like an ideal marriage as we got to know each other and saw the wonderful things she already did for her things. You've already got a place in Harrods, haven't you, with all your jewellery and everything. And I could see that she could and Adele felt that she could interpret my work differently enough, because there's no point if it either jeopardised what you were already doing and not something totally new. So that's why it turned out to be so good. And this is a little heart. Now, in my sketchbooks, I'd drawn some hearts and they've got a wiggle at the bottom, and this is a really fantastic interpretation of that.
It's fantastic. Sorry, for people who don't know, this is Adele Vanderkamp, is that how you pronounce her surname? Good. And her jewellery design brand is called Adele Marie. It's been established since the 70s and has it's stocked in places like Harrods and Fenwick and Bond Street. So for those of you who don't know who Adele is, so how you're sort of saying that Adele kind of helped you interpret these prints into jewellery. So how did the kind of collaborative process work? I mean, did you both sort of sit down with all your archives and sort of go
We
through
sat down with the archives and looked at different things. Years ago, because the main thing really is the fact that if you design something as a designer, if you don't wear it, then you don't even put your back behind the whole thing. So it had to be jewellery that I would be seen in. You know, that although other people aren't necessarily going to look like me, it still had to be a bit of me that other people could purchase. So this is a really lovely one, which has got the signatures on. It's on one or two, it's on there, one or two of them. And big and small hearts.
Beautiful.
And those, yes, that's the wiggle interpreted into a square. And I think we've got one interpreted into a more of a choker. So there's and then this one is the lady head with beads, and then it's got, you know, this is the bracelet that goes with that, which is the heads. And then these are the other bracelets that can go with the wiggles.
So what kind of came first? Did you match the design to the kind of the medium? So, you know, like you're saying with the scribbles and bracelets, or did you kind of experiment with putting different things on?
It was a case of experimenting, wasn't it, really?
I think we decided that we wanted two different ranges. We wanted one that was really Zandra and zany, and you know, with wanted resin, and then we wanted something that was a little bit more commercial. So we wanted the best of both worlds, and basically.
Can we hear her enough? We can't hear you enough.
Sorry. She's got some amazing books, and in her books are all her different designs. And I don't know if you're aware, but Zandra has dressed everybody from Princess Diana, Freddie Mercury. I mean, the list goes endlessly. And you know, her creations are just stunning, and all her prints. She's got all these different wiggles and faces. I mean, she was doing the safety pin way before Versace, let me tell you, and the or before Westwood. And I said this to her, I said, look, and she said, don't talk to me about that. So anyway, she is just absolutely brilliant. And so we wanted to really bring her prints to life, and we wanted people to know that it was Zandra Rhodes, that it wasn't just another collection of jewellery, because anybody can take a piece of jewellery and put a ZR on it, let's be honest. That isn't Zandra. We have to have her personality in it, and hopefully that's what we've done, and there's something for everyone.
But I was going to say, some of those ones where you've done the charms are delightful, where they're the little rows of pearls and then the little Z charms. Yes, get one of those over.
So hopefully you like it and you'd like to buy it, and you've got a little piece of Zandra as well. She's very, very happy to sign. We've got some beautiful cards here, and she would love to sign them for you. And please enjoy with the drinks and everything.
Oh, and eat the cakes.
There's the bracelet of it, and there's a necklace as well.
Oh, there's the bracelet. And it's got little baubles and little ZRs, pink ones and gold ones. It really is very, very sweet, that one.
And there's a long necklace to go with that as well.
This is another one that I was just pointing out that, whoops, that's
Yeah, this is for the younger ones.
seaweedy, yes.